Morning everyone, how are you? Today I would like to tell you a story, okay? So a few years back, shortly after my husband died, when something would break down at home, any issue like issues with fuses, any small repair needed, I would just panic, I would just sit down and cry. My husband was a handyman, so in any long-term relationship, you would share responsibilities. So one person would be responsible for one thing and the other for the other thing. And my husband would repair anything which would happen at home. So when there was something breaking down, first, it would reminded me of my husband, and second, I would cry because I didn't have the skills to deal with it. And then I remember my son, one day my son came to see me, checking what happened, and he saw me crying. And then he said something very important. He said, "Mom, why won't you look at the situation from a different perspective? You love learning new things. Why wouldn't you look at this situation as an opportunity of learning new skills?" Okay, and you know what, at the time I didn't even know how to handle a screwdriver. Yeah, so but I remembered the lesson, and I actually looking at the problem from that perspective helped me to move on, right? Because sitting and crying wasn't helping me. Or maybe, it just helped me to release the emotions, but long term, it wasn't helpful at all, okay? So from that point, when I was faced with any situation which was outside my comfort zone, I would look at it as an opportunity of learning new skills, because obviously I love to learn new skills. And I ended up cleaning all the basement from my husband's materials and tools, going to the car boot sales. I learned which tool is what's the purpose of tools, and I learned to I learned about different building materials I had in the basement. So honestly, I learned a lot because I just changed my perspective. I changed my attitude towards any obstacles, any situations when I didn't have skills to deal with it. I just look at the situation as a kind of opportunity to learn something new. And this is an example of how you can use a so-called REFRAME tool to help you to move on, okay? So when you're faced with something difficult, with some kind of obstacle, and you just like feel helpless, you just you're very emotional with your response, but you are not moving on. It's good to just sit down, take a few breaths, and ask yourself, is your behavior or your response, is it helpful? Is it useful? Okay, how the response you're displaying at this point, how does it make you feel? And if you're not happy with the assessment, ask yourself another question. So what would be a better meaning you can give to this situation? Okay, how would you like to feel? And you can change the perspective and look for a different meaning. And then ask yourself, so now what kind of small action I can take from the new perspective. Okay, so for example, in my case, when I was faced with this something small which broke down at home, I just took a screwdriver and I needed to learn which way is to unscrew and which way is to, you know, because I didn't know. Yeah, my son told me another good advice: lefty loosey, righty tighty. Okay. Now I know. Okay, yeah, so just remember, you know, this simple tool to look at the situation from a totally different perspective, giving a better meaning, can help you to move on, okay, and actually learn something new, deal with the problem more effectively, learn new skills. It's a great tool, okay? Yeah, please give it a try, okay? So if you are faced with any kind of difficult situation at the moment and the response you are giving is not helpful at all, try to give a better meaning, and you see what's gonna happen, okay? Have great fun with that, okay? Bye bye.